Hey guys, welcome back. We're going to do some Scratchboard and Pointillism. Make sure I have what I need, and let's get right into it. I chose this picture of Steph Curry, and I'm going to sketch out my image and make sure I have it the way I want it, because you cannot erase on Scratchboard. It changes the finish and leaves a really greasy mark. When you're working with Scratchboard, it's all about the highlights, so make sure that you pick an image with really strong highlights. It may even help to divide your picture up into value categories, like where is it light, dark, medium, and all the midtones. But at the same time, don't overwork it, because in the end, it's not your final piece. So when you get it to where it satisfies you, just move on to step 2 and go ahead and graphite the back of your image. So once you've got it covered with graphite, and I'm just using a graphite stick, but you could use a pencil. Just put the paper on top of the Scratchboard. Once you get it lined up, you want to tape it, because you don't want it to be moving around while you're trying to transfer, because it will shift and that could ruin your proportions that you've established in your drawing. I always suggest using an ink pen so that you know what you've transferred and what you haven't. I'll find that sometimes I think I've covered an area and then I take the paper off and I miss that whole spot, and it's almost impossible to get it lined up again. And clearly I can't transfer all my shading anyway, but the shading helps me to see if I'm accurate, so in the end it does help me. And I have what I need now on my Scratchboard, an accurate representation of a lot of the edges that I need for this portrait. And now I can choose my technique. I did choose stippling, and it is not hard, I guess. It's not. It's hard to stick with it because it is tedious. But it's just a lot of little dots, a lot of little specks. Some people make their dots a little more circular. Others use dashes. Whatever mark my tool made when I hit the paper, that's the mark I stuck with. So I wasn't too picky about mine. I just wanted the value to be right. But since the nature of Scratchart is subtractive, it is unforgiving. And if you take off too much, you really just can't go back. So I took off a little too much in his right eye, and I had to fix it, and I'm going to show you what it looks like. You can hide it somewhat, but at different angles it becomes apparent. So just be careful. I thought stippling would give me the chance to carefully go over this and not to have it show up, but I messed it up. Well, not beyond repair, but that will help too. If you know how you can do those little touch-ups, it's fine. If you're going to take a digital image and that's all people will ever see is the digital image, then you should be able to cover it up very easily. It's just at certain angles that you reveal your mistakes if you try to touch them up with a Sharpie or an ink pen. So at this angle, you can see that eye, I've added some ink pen to it to cover up some of the white. I just took off a little bit too much. And now I just fill in the background. I didn't think this picture had too much white in it, but when I started doing the background, I realized I was very wrong. It has quite a bit of white in this area. And I've looked at this a long time, so I need to turn it upside down to see any of my mistakes. That's why my hand is at the top of the screen. I'm actually turned it upside down. And as I finish it up, I want to make sure that it holds up to my reference, that if I squint or unfocus my eyes, that the reference and the Scratchart look very similar in value. Of course, mine looks a lot more pixelated because of the stippling technique, but again, I thought it would translate well into this media, and that's why I chose it. I do have some more stippling and some more Scratchart on the channel, so be sure and check those out. And I hope you guys have a blessed day and night.